give you an introduction to Ixion DecimatorRT and how you can use it to optimize models, reduce the number of vertices and the number of faces. It's pretty easy. So let's grab a character. This one's imported from DAZ, so we'll just have a look at that. As you can see, this character has a very large number of faces at the moment, making it pretty unsuitable for mobile for sure. Probably quite unsuitable for anything at this face count. So let's go and open up Ixion DecimatorRT, and we'll go and dock it over on the right hand side. Give ourselves a little bit of space. As you can see, it comes with a wizard that completely walks you through the process of decimation. And the key thing, the RT part, means it also works at runtime, so you can procedurally generate a mesh and also decimate that using code. We'll look at that later. First of all, then, let's select the character and go to the prepare step. If you'd selected a hierarchy with multiple things that could be decimated, they'd all be listed here. That is, we've only got one. We'll click all anyway, so that's going to make them all ready for decimation. Then when we go to the decimator tab, we can see this warning saying that if we don't check bake meshes, the things that we create will be lost when the scene is reloaded. So this is, if you turn that off, it's basically just for playing around till you get the look you want. We can also see we have 37,000 faces in this model at the present time. Now we have a number of options for decimation. The first two, decimate by error and decimate by percentage. Let's go and set this up to be an error of, let's say, 1.3, and we'll hit decimate. And what that will do is it will remove faces where there's a reasonably low error in the overall shape of the model if that face is removed. So that will help us get a quick decimation. As you see, a lot of faces vanished. If we look at the model still looks pretty good. Click back on it. We can go up here and see we've lost just over 10,000 faces out of that model by that decimation. So we can also use this decimate by percentage. These, by the way, will work on the entire hierarchy of things you've got selected, if there's more than one. So let's take this percentage down to, let's say, let's have 54%, that'll do. So we'll decimate the model down to 54% of the vertices. And still we've got a pretty good looking character, hasn't changed dramatically. We've got a little bit more obvious normals on the edges there where we've lost some triangles, but it looks pretty good still. And we're now down to 20,000 faces out of the 37,000. Now if we take this down a little bit further, so let's take it down to 45%, a second. Still pretty good, but maybe what we'd like to do is, this face is now getting pretty low poly, and if we go and look at it, the chin's not quite right, and it's started to get very angular, and obviously the face is a highly recognizable part of the character. Maybe we want to do something about that. So there's a number of ways we can do that, and we can do that by using individual settings for the model. So if we go down here, you can see all of our different models. If we selected more than one, would be available here, but we've just got the Genesis shape opened up. And you can see we can set individual settings for it. So we can set the number of polygons we want for it, the number of triangles. So we could set that down to around the 17,000 mark. But we could use a different mode apart from total. We could use, for instance, sub-meshes weighted. And this now shows you all of the meshes that make up that character. And if we select all of them, they'll all be decimated, but we can change the weights of each one. So let's go and choose the weight of the face. And that's down here with this 4,100 triangles. So let's make that a higher weight, which means we'll try and keep more of the face. And then we can just go and click this decimate button at the bottom, and that will decimate according to these settings. So you can now see the face is far more defined again, has a lot more polygons in it, and we've lost extra ones from the body. And so you can do that by looking through all of these different settings. Setting things lower than 1 will make them less likely to be included, greater than 1, more likely to keep triangles in the model. Now, it's very easy with things imported from DAZ because they have all these sub-meshes for the different parts of the body. That's not always true. So let's go and have a look at how we could work if that wasn't true. So we'll keep our 17,000 vertices. Instead of doing what we did there by saying the face directly, we're going to create a zone. So these zones get created. You can have more than one, and you can set the weight in each side, each zone. The easiest way to set it up is to switch into isometric mode, and then we can just go and, for instance, pop that over the head. We can change the size here, so actually let's just do that to show the point. Make it about 0.4, drop that over the head, turn it around, probably get a little bit higher, and zoom in. Yeah, that looks like it covers the area we're interested in. So we'll increase the weight for the head there to even more than before, 9 times more likely, and we'll hit decimate. And again, that will decimate it according to these settings, but now using those zones. And the zones we specify here also work in the error and in the percentage decimation modes. And there we've got our character decimated again. So the other way you can work with the decimator is each of these objects which can be decimated, so that'll be the thing with the skin mesh renderer, the Genesis shape here. Those will have a decimator RT component added to them. And instead of using the wizard, you can just go in here, make all those same settings. So we could, for instance, specifically set how many triangles should be in each face, for instance, in each submesh. We can go and do all of that stuff directly here, and these fully interact between these two windows. But we'll just leave that alone, switch that back to total. And we can also add and manipulate the zones from here as well. So pretty easy to set that up. And if you want to do it from code, well, there are full examples here. So this tab of the wizard shows you how to decimate when you've got a decimator component attached to an object. It's pretty simple. You just call it its decimate method, and it will decimate according to these settings, which you can obviously modify from code. Or you can just use decimator utility directly, which will return you a mesh. So for instance, you can call decimate by error, pass an error in and a mesh, and get one back out again. And if you've got a skinned mesh, you would pass some extra things here if you were using zones. And you can see it fully documents each of those different methods that you can use to decimate the characters. So all in all, a pretty powerful tool for optimizing the characters appear in your game. Clearly works pretty well on humanoid characters. It works great on other things as well. So hopefully you'll find it very useful. Thanks for watching.